just waiting to see who's about this morning at 10:22 a.m. Melbourne time, Australia. The sun is shining. Hopefully it will shine all day. Good morning. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about our signature 12-week online program. It begins, round 4 actually begins May 11th, and it's called inTune Families. It's a 12-week online program that I designed myself based on everything I know about being an autistic person, being an autistic child, what helps us, what harms us. And it's for families raising autistic children. So there are 6 modules. The course runs over 12 weeks. You can go at your own pace, or you can move through one module per fortnight. And every module covers a different topic to do with autistic family life. You do not need to be autistic to participate in inTune Families. There are professionals who do the program, allied health professionals. I've had OTs and speechies do the program, psychologists. I've even had GPs do the program, parents, grandparents, educators, autistic people themselves. It's really about having a look at the program, following the link that I've placed up there in the description. It'll tell you everything about the program. So we go through a module every fortnight on a different topic, and the first 3 modules, so the first 6 weeks of the program, are information based. So really it's a lot of education around the life and the world of an autistic person, particularly as children, how we operate at home, how we operate in a classroom. And then the second half of the program is all about us, the adults. It's all about us, the parents, and reframing and reshaping our family life. So you will get a beautiful book. It's a program booklet. You can take notes for the first 6 weeks. And then the second half of the booklet, there are some really simple reflective exercises. So you watch a module, which is a video. All of the videos are also transcribed, so you can read them. You can listen to them while you're doing housework. It's really up to you. They're broken down into 10 minutes or less segments, so they're not long and drawn out. And we watch a video, and then we do the reflective exercises. There's always me at the end of an email for any questions. And by the time we get to the end of the 12 weeks, we have a beautiful family plan that looks after our needs, siblings' needs, that gives us a really good idea around what kind of therapies would be helpful for our family, if any. We really delve in and look at every single aspect of family life when we're raising autistic children. On top of that, every fortnight, for every module, we come together in a Zoom meeting. And so we get together and we just hang out. My wonderful friend, autistic friend and colleague, Kieran Rose from The Autistic Advocate joins me, and we talk about that fortnight's content. You get to ask questions, you get to share your experience, you get to meet some of the other participants. You can come on camera and join us, you can join just by voice, or you can just sit there totally quiet, not on screen at all, and just observe. So the program is so flexible. You can do it at your own pace. If you can't make the Zoom meetings once a fortnight, you will get a replay link, so you get to watch it. And yeah, you can do it fortnightly or at your own pace. Now, questions about how the pricing works, there is a price guideline. There are payment plans. There's a one-time payment. There is a 12-month payment plan, a 6-month payment plan, a 3-month payment plan, or you can access the program in exchange for a donation that you choose. Nothing is too small. I promise you. I have people come to me sometimes who desperately want to access the program and apologise emphatically for only offering whatever they offer. I don't care about the amount. If someone is in financial hardship and needs to access the program, then that's what I want. I want you to access it. That's the priority here. You can use NDIS funding. Many participants do. So you can reach out via email and share with us participant number, participant name, and we will send you a tax invoice so you can access the programming using your funding. But I don't want anybody to go without. Nobody should have to go without. If you cannot afford full price, if you do not have access to NDIS funding, a donation is absolutely fine. I don't care if it's $5, honestly, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I just want people to have access to information that is from the autistic community. So inside of the program, there's also an abundance of interviews that you can watch with all autistic experts. There is not one single person in this program that is not autistic. We are all autistic, and many of us have other neurodivergences as well, ADHD, PDA. The program is not PDA specific. It's for non-PDA autistics. However, there are interviews in there where we do talk about PDA, and many families jump on our group sessions once a fortnight and ask me lots of questions about PDA, which I'm happy to answer and talk about in there. In the group sessions, you can also ask for resources, ask any questions you like about anything you like, and Kieran and I are more than happy to help you. Kieran's based in the UK. I'm obviously in Australia. Accent. But we have participants from all over the world, which I really, really love. So, if you have any questions, does anybody have any questions right now? Managing working from home now and homeschooling and supporting my son is so tricky. Yeah. I'm also a support teacher, so it could be beneficial for work as well. This sounds perfect. Well, Christina, I'd love to have you on board. The thing is, we have such a great community of participants, because we're all just families wanting what's good and right for us and our children. We just want peace in our homes, a plan that works for everybody. The program is family-centered. We're not just focusing on autistic children. We're focusing on the entire family. So we're also looking at the potential for us to be autistic as well. A lot of families come through the program and realise that they're autistic, and off they go and come back with a diagnosis, which is beautiful. Beautiful. We love welcoming new kin into the autistic community. I never want anybody to worry about the language that they use. I don't want anyone to worry about terminology. I just want people to be able to access good, quality, autistic-based information. This program is entirely from an autistic perspective. So we have experts, an autistic expert talking about how to advocate for your children at school. We have an expert talking about healthcare barriers and how to work around accessing the care that we need as autistic people and parents. How do you fit all that awesome in your personality? Sarah. Oh, Sarah, I'm really embarrassed. That's so lovely. Thank you. I would like to participate. I'm from Argentina and time zones can be tricky, but I'm willing to try. Cecilia, time zones are not really a problem. So what we normally do is we run 2 group sessions per module. So a module will become available on a Monday morning at 8 a.m. and you have 2 weeks to get through the module. And then in the second week we run a morning session and an evening session, and that enables people from wherever they are to access the session. If you can't, you can receive a replay link. Somebody's just put an angry face on this. What could you possibly be angry about? Please share. But yes, you can access a replay link if you're unable to make the live session. Also, the times change every fortnight, so there are going to be people who can make the sessions one fortnight and another fortnight they can't, and that's just real life, isn't it, really? We can't always be there for everything. Sometimes we have to cancel things or not show up. You have everything figured out. Oh, in the program I do, not in life. Oh, not in life. So the program's built on my experience of being a parent of 4 autistic children who also have a PDA profile. There's some ADHD in there. We've got all the letters of the alphabet. I'm married to an autistic person. I'm autistic myself. But for a long time that didn't really enter the equation of our family life. I didn't pay attention to the fact that I'm autistic and what that would mean for me. Yeah, sorry, bit distracted there. So we lived in a very dark place for a very long time. We closed our doors, we did not leave our home for about 4 years because we had so much chronic anxiety and PDA and trauma and so much of that stuff going on. I was in a terrible place. My husband was in a terrible place. We were all in a really bad place, yelling and screaming all the time. It was not pretty. It was not pretty at all. And after some time, we found our way out of that. We emerged from that darkness, and we are relatively joyful people today. Not every day, not in every moment, because let's be real, we're human beings. But I wanted to build this program because I wanted to share our own family experience, which begins with having a very good understanding of autism and the behaviour, and understanding the behaviour as a byproduct of what's going on in here, as a communication of what's going on in here. We have children who are non-speaking with significant support needs, who require 24-hour around-the-clock care. We also have children who are highly social and in your face, and we understand the sibling dynamic and how difficult that can be. Does your course cover trauma and how to heal as a family? Somewhat, Sarah. Yeah, I don't specifically have a unit on trauma, but the reflective exercises help us to have a look at some of our untouched, unhealed stuff and how that creates a barrier in moving forward. We also, when we're putting out a plan for ourselves, there are some really moving exercises in there where we go really deep. But in that plan, through the exercises, we come to see what we need in our lives to be able to heal. And that might mean seeking out a trauma-informed professional to work with our families. It's going to look different for every person, but I definitely do talk about trauma, but I'm not so sure I call it trauma. I might use a different language. But yes, coming from that space myself, being a family that experienced significant trauma, and we would be hard-pressed to find a family who are raising autistic children who haven't had that experience, because let's be real, the initiation process when our children are diagnosed is that we're told that our children are disordered, and we're shoved into therapies that sometimes aren't necessary and don't work for our children, and sometimes they do. But it can be disempowering and disconnecting for parents. We can feel inadequate. We can feel like we're failing our children. We can be bullied by our own family and friends who believe that they're well-intentioned but like to give us unsolicited, unasked for advice. Unhelpful advice too, I might add. The experience for me was that my whole foundation was ripped out from underneath me. Everything I thought I knew and believed about human beings and life was ripped apart. And I was really invested in the doom and gloom narrative. I began, as the parent of autistic children, with a cure mentality. I will always put my hand up and say that. That's a part of my journey. I started out with a cure mentality. Oh, that's okay, Courtney, no problem. Sometimes it's easy to hit that anger button. How long is registration open? Can I pay in US dollars? Yes, you can purchase from anywhere in the world. Registration I leave open for a month because I know autistic families. I know how busy we are, how much we're juggling. I know how the ADHD brain works. It'll see something and go, yes, and then be looking at videos about cats jumping over water fountains, and then we forget what we were doing in the first place. So yes, it's open for a month. You can purchase from anywhere in the world. We accept payments through PayPal and credit card. But in saying that, if people reach out and want to access the program in exchange for a donation, I'm happy to. Some people have sent checks from the US. I mean, it's really about whatever works for you. Can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, yes. Have you dealt with identical twins and not being able to separate from the other, and how to live in the same home? It's interesting that you say that that's weird. I think that's quite a common experience for twins, to find it difficult for them to separate, particularly in childhood. I've seen that a lot. Hi, Melissa. The program begins on May 11th. Registrations are open from now until then. Have I dealt with identical twins? I find the question a little bit confusing. I don't have twins myself. I have worked with families with twins. Feel free to send me an email to ask more about that, Charlotte. Yes, so I think I'll leave it there. I've probably missed out on a whole heap of information. We look at the sensory profile. There's a downloadable resource for you to have a look at some of the clues to tell us in which ways our children are struggling on a sensory level. So looking at their sensory profile, being able to meet their needs around that, and yeah, there's so much information in there. The link is in the sidebar. That will tell you absolutely everything about the program from beginning to bottom of page. If you have any questions, please send an email. Feel free to reach out at any time. I'm going to get going now because I have to work, and I have children to entertain like everybody else. Hope you all have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are in the world. Lots of love. Talk again soon.